Nothing is unusual. Yet.
With Darksol's control over Kane broken, two former enemies joined together to open the door to the manual of the seal, allowing Darksol to steal it. After coming to the realization that all of the Shining Force's successes have been the result of Darksol's plot, Max returned to report that he effed up, then continued on his way to prompt through Missila's Demon Castle, where another climactic battle finally took place. Slaying the evil witch, and acquiring the Sword of Light, the adventure continues.
Chapter 7, The Lost Civilization. The Shining Force quickly reached Prompt, hoping that they had come in time while completely ignoring the irony of that name. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Shining Force, the legacy of great intention for the Sega Genesis. Just want to get it out of the way real quick in case anything sounds off. My microphone that I was using before basically started having technical issues, so I just wanted to mention that for anybody who hasn't seen any other videos that have perhaps mentioned that, but are coming straight to this from previous Shining Force videos. You know the drill. New town, let's talk to people, starting with this fatty. Welcome to Prompt. And speaking of fatties, is this really Prompt? The people seem a little, well, dense, don't they? I mean, when I was a kid, I used to just call this place the town with the fat people because, as I've said before, I didn't pay attention to the stories in games after beating them once, so I couldn't remember the actual name of the town. So I just called it the town with all the fat people because it's filled with fat people. Don't ask me anything. I'm not from around here. I just arrived from Rindo. Got a new shop with new stuff. I'm gonna have to decide my team first, though, so I don't buy any unnecessary weapons. The item shop's just gonna be the same thing it always is. Thinking is boring. I think about dinner all the time. Speaking of it being a town of fatties, it's good, they say, but you can't prove it by me. Did that guy just admit to, being an idiot? And that his education was a complete failure? Be quiet and sit down, you little beasts! Need to know I learned from my cat. Well, that's true if you plan on having a future in internet entertainment. And this game came out in the early 90s. That kid was really ahead of the game. School? Who needs it? It hurts. You are so backward. No one wants to learn anything. That's just the priest, so I don't need to talk to him yet. I'll deal with that later when the positions of the people are reset, and I don't have to deal with them being in the way. Sir? Hello? Dark Dragon? Who cares? Let's talk about food! Who are they? A group of minstrels? A fun conversation with this bush? Have they posted the lunch menu yet? I can't wait! So, he's not having a conversation with the bush. He's contemplating eating the bush. Shining Force? What does that taste like? Is it good to eat? Probably depends on the member. For many of us, that would classify as cannibalism, but we have a few party members like Guns and Blue and Ammon where it technically wouldn't be cannibalism, although I'm not sure how well they would taste. Shining Path? Maybe the king knows about it. The Birdmen would probably taste like chicken or turkey, so they'd be good, but other than that, I'm not entirely sure. I've never eaten armadillo before, nor have I really eaten any reptiles, so I'm not sure exactly what a dragon would taste like. Welcome visitors are always welcome. So, I'm not really sure how Shining Force would taste, in general. Shining Path, eh? Are you sure you want to know about that? Yes. The king might know something about it. He's always reading old books. You mean like those old books? Can't let anyone past. King's orders. Okay, so we can't go that way, but we can go into this destroyed house. This is Prompt Castle. Lovely, isn't it? Yes. Nice castle. Who built up the blueprint? The guys from Rampart? Dang it, I pressed up. The Genesis D-pad sucks. Welcome to Prompt Castle. Even as a kid, I was never a fan of the Genesis controller. This castle isn't much, but it's the only one we have. Particularly the D-pad. It sometimes presses directions you don't want to, and the edges are really rigid. So if you're playing a fighting game, for example, it can really start to wear on your thumb after a while. Go up the stairs to see King Kusuko, ruler of Prompt. So yeah, it's not the best controller out there. Be quiet, please. Somebody's very sick in the castle. Time for idle chatter. Dang it, again, I was holding down and he just goes left. You have to be so precise with this controller's D-pad, it's ridiculous. Grandpa's room, he's pondering something difficult. You'd better not disturb him. Hello, I'm here to disturb you? Run along now, youngster. I'm doing vital research here by looking away from all the books in my room. Because that's how research works. Deep thought requires absolute silence. Please let me resume thinking. This is interesting. Let me talk to you, sir. Great equipment, huh? Don't ask what it does, I have no idea. Then maybe you shouldn't be near it. Just don't go pressing anything and blowing up the castle. Here we've got some fancy-looking ancient ruins. I don't think there's anything important here. But if we look at this, that's very much like the pathway we used the Orb of Light on in the past. Door? What door? Oh, that door. It's nothing. Forget all about it. Run along now.
My hip hurts. I'm in the middle of cooking a turkey. I have warranty cards to fill out. I am not just making excuses.
Oh, I'm just resting. Nothing to see down here. Why don't you go upstairs? Cluck, cluck. So this is a complete dead end that's obviously important. We just can't do anything there yet. To the upstairs! Hello, King. All hail King Kusuko. This is King Kusuko, ruler of Prompt. Be polite or we'll throw you into prison. That's, I guess, reasonable since he's a king, but also kind of harsh. What brings you to Prompt? Ancients? Dark Dragon? What is this nonsense? You're a spy, aren't you? Sent by our enemies to find our weaknesses. Answer me. No, you're lying. We know how to deal with spies. But I'm not lying. Guards, toss him in prison. Oh no, we're being thrown in prison again. Kings like to do this apparently. And we are trapped in prison.
Forever.
Until we search the bars. The thick bars seem unbreakable. If only I had a lightsaber that could cut through metal. Hello, Boken! Okay, now I'm really lost. Hey, Max, what's up? Don't worry, I'll let you out. And Boken finally matters. Max, I think I'm going to stop wandering and settle down. Maybe in Warl. See ya. And this would have been a perfect opportunity for Boken to join the Shining Force as a new monk. Which is funny because now that I think about it, I believe it was in the Warl episode where I was talking about how I always felt like he should be a party member. These stairs lead to the prison. Nothing to see down there now. Yeah, because I just broke out. King Kusuko, a message from those who left for the Tower of the Ancients. Aleph and Tarasu say Darksol seems unbeatable. They cannot hold out for long. You heard the report, I assume. The Tower of the Ancients is east of here. When I heard Darksol was there, I sent troops to stop him. Why are you telling me all of this when I'm an alleged spy? Especially since you just admitted to being aware of the fact that I was just spying on your conversation from behind your throne. He is trying to raise the castle of the ancients from beneath the sea. He must be stopped before he awakens Dark Dragon. Since my troops have failed, it's all up to you now, Max. How do you know my name? Rest for now until all is ready for your journey. You are a very strange guy. But okay, this way to rest. He's resting, but I need to rest. Out of bed, I need to rest. His name is Kane, I know. Someone found him seriously injured. When Kane recovers his strength, you two can talk. Just be patient. Or I can use the bad. Please, King Kusako, let Max go to the Tower of the Ancients. Rest, Kane. There will be time to talk later. I owe Max a great deal. Please, let him go. Kane passes out. I give in. Max, you have my permission to enter the Tower of the Ancients. Well, that was easy. Once more, we get our way and convince people to do what we want by saying absolutely nothing. Life lesson. Don't talk to people and you'll get what you want. Just stare at them until they give in. Or somebody else does all the talking for you. Because apparently just saying please will just convince them to see things your way or whatever. Hello, sir. You're going out? Enjoy yourself. Not yet, because we have a new party member to recruit, and then we have to arrange our team and buy weapons for the upcoming battle. Stop going in circles. Why am I suddenly having so many problems with this stupid D-pad? Words are carved into the wall. I am Musashi, the samurai. I have come to join the fight against evil. I await at headquarters. And Musashi joins the Shining Force! Give me advice, Nova. Thick woods are tough to get through. I'm well aware of that by this point. Close your ranks and fight as a unit. Move cautiously against flying opponents. They move faster than your troops, unless my troops are flying. I didn't want to do that again. Interesting thing about Musashi is he is a character I didn't find on my own, but rather was discovered by a friend who was playing the game. He's level 10, which wouldn't be such a ridiculously high level, except that my levels are way further behind than they should be. All my characters shouldn't be at 10, but I should have at least a couple particularly outstanding characters like Guns and Domingo around that level. So he's definitely useful. He's slow and can't move very far, but he has lots of hit points, attack, and defense. He's probably the single best standard melee guy in the game. And he even starts with his strongest weapon. He only has, I think, one other weapon in the game he can equip, which is the Doom Blade. And that's a little bit weaker, but has a chance to instantly kill an opponent when it attacks. So, I'll get my party set up, buy some weapons, make sure I don't have anything damaged because it's been a while. And then I'll see you in the next fight. The Ancients is to the east. Hurry while there's still time. Alright, here we go. Another outside battle with lots of annoying terrain. I don't think there's one... Oh, there's playing fields down there, but we're not going down there. We are going to that. The Tower of the Ancients. Guarded by lots of new and old enemies, including robots. Robots which hurt. As per usual, I've arranged my party to be good in the outside terrain, like the forests and mountains. So I've got my archers, I've got Gort and guns, took out my wizards, and just have Domingo, so this is going to be really rough, because we're starting to get to enemies with much higher defensive values. So we're gonna have to see how well I'll be able to hurt things. I didn't bring all my flying units, though, because some of my characters need to level up a little bit more, like my archers. And it's getting to the point where I have so many characters that I can't bring all of my optimal choices into every battle and have room to accommodate for everybody because of the party size limit of 12. Because I also had Luke for this kind of battle, as well as... I just realized I should have given Blue the mobility ring instead of Gong. Maybe I could fix that so he can keep up with Ammon and Balbaroy. My party is so perfectly arranged for those Belials to start blasting me. And the jets are moving in, and those are going to be a considerable threat as far as actually defeating them because of my low attack powers. So this is going to be trick... Oh wait, no, I don't want Blue to have... That's right, I don't want Blue to have the mobility ring because he has the power ring so he can hurt things. I actually want to back up a bit and kind of let these guys come to me since that's what they're doing. Great way to start the battle! Especially because if I try to retaliate, I'll be open to that jet killing me. I'm okay with that, though. Prioritizing Domingo, so Domingo just gets zapped. and then only one person gets hit. Usually my arrangement for this starts off a little bit better, but it is what it is. We finally have a new axe for Gort, so he can do more damage. However, I held on to the heat axe instead of selling it just in case I need it for casting Blaze. Let's get Gunts over here to try and draw in the jet as well. I have plenty of other characters who can go after the Belial up north a bit. Want to try to draw the jet towards people who can actually take that initial hit, as opposed to somebody injured like Ammon or Blue. Shoot him down, Hans! Bam! With your new, I guess your crossbow is now a grenade launcher. I don't think he's gained one attack point since being promoted. Because he's Hans. And Hans sucks. I've been playing Shining Force 3 recently, and it's interesting how archers have developed throughout the series. Because in this game, archers suck. They are just terrible. But in Shining Force 3, they are so incredibly overpowered that it's kind of interesting how they went from one end of the spectrum to the other. Actually, I need to save my magic points in case I need longer range, so let's use a healing seed instead. Eat this, Blue! Get your health back! Perfect, that's exactly who I wanted him to attack, because even only at level 7, Guns should be able to take hits from these enemies just fine. Now I need to get to that jet and take it out before it has a chance to cause me any problems. Also, let's get Guns kinda out here as well to try and start drawing in these other enemies with his good stuff instead. I gave him those rings just in case I need him to be able to zap things with magic. Speaking of which, how hard will he even hit this thing? Decently. He should be able to... We should be able to take care of this thing before it becomes a problem, since there's only the one. And Gort is really strong as well. Balbaroy, back him up! So I just mentioned Shining Force 3, which I have actually been playing recently, although not recording it. That game's way too long to record, and even if I could, and even if I wanted to do something that long, I don't have a way of recording Sega Saturn games. Aside from through emulation, but Sega Saturn emulation is kind of iffy. So I'd rather not have to deal with that if I don't have to. Speaking of Shining Force 3, that's actually related to one of the stories I had regarding my history with Shining Force. So since I just brought up Shining Force 3 in regards to the archers, I guess that's the next story I can tackle on my list. When I was a kid and I saw the centaurs in this game, basically I got to fantasizing about a character that was just purely a horse. I'm not exactly sure why, it just seemed like an intriguing idea, maybe because this may have been my introduction to centaurs, I can't remember for sure. But seeing the centaurs kind of started getting me fantasizing about the idea of a Shining Force game where you would have a character who's just an ordinary horse. They would still be like the knights using spears and lances, probably having some sort of harness that they can either latch a lance to their side, or they would have maybe a launcher on their back for shooting spears. And I even thought it would be neat to graphically mod one or two of the centaurs in this game to basically be that, just an ordinary horse, maybe with the ability to talk, who has this spear or lance-equipped harness on their body for fighting. The reason why this is relevant to Shining Shining Force 3 is because Shining Force 3 sort of fulfilled that at long last. Originally, only Scenario 1 of Shining Force 3 was released outside Japan. However, there is a fan translation for the other ones. And thanks to that, that weird fantasy was sort of fulfilled, because in Shining Force 3 Scenario 3, you actually recruit a unicorn in your party. She's an interesting character. She's got solid offensive skills, not incredible offensive skills, but they're good enough to pass. And she also learned some useful support spells. She can cast Antidote, which is actually useful in Shining Force 3. She can cast Sleep, which is actually useful in Shining Force 3. She can also cast Charm, which is basically just a more powerful version of Confusion. Unlike in other Shining Force games, status ailments are actually worth a damn. So, she's a useful utility character, but like centaurs, she can't move for crap in forests and mountains. But fortunately, by that point in the series, they've gotten a little bit better with that kind of stuff, so it's not as much of a detriment as it is in something like this. I'm used to Xylo being stronger than that, so I hoped for a little bit more damage. Now Balbaroy's in trouble. Hopefully I can get rid of that other Durahan before Balbaroy is finished off, which I wasn't able to do, but the enemy decided to attack Ammon instead. Because the AI in this game is smart. If this had been Shining Force 3, Balbaroy would have been screwed. But since it's not, I was given a second chance. My healers need to catch up, though, so I can make both my Birdman battle ready again, especially because I don't want that weirdo wondering what the Shining Force tastes like, finding out that one of the best prospects for a meal in my party just got his ass kicked. I can use the Evil Ring here, cast Bolt level 3, to just get rid of that guy and wreck the other one. And that's why you want to keep the Evil Ring instead of selling it. You just don't want to equip it, and here comes the Minotaur. That's a bad thing. So I need to start getting things set up sooner rather than later. The Minotaur might actually be the leader of this battle. I can't remember for certain. But either way, if he's charging me like that, I'm going to have to defend myself. So I can't really be concerned with that. I actually really wanted to give the Evil Ring and the Black Ring to my flying units so I could better utilize them with characters who are weaker. But very few characters can equip those rings, and you can only use a ring as an item, same with weapons, if the character can actually equip them, whether or not you actually equip the thing. You know what always weirded me out about the Minotaurs? You saw that sprite, I assume, when I casted that spell, and how he's carrying that massive steel pipe? The Minotaur is unarmed. He's not holding a weapon. If you go into his status, he has no weapon equipped. Despite that massive pole that I just saw him holding, he's not equipped with a weapon. I've always found that strange. Granted, back then, I also didn't consider it as just a limitation where they wanted to not give him a weapon that didn't make sense, or create an exclusive weapon just for that particular instance. That sort of concept didn't cross my mind as a kid. I just saw that and I was like, how is this guy not holding a weapon? This is dangerous for Xylo to do, but they're initiating combat and I need to respond accordingly and do as much damage as I can, despite that damage being pitiful. And this is kind of why I want, like right here, this would have been perfect. He could have positioned himself perfectly with the Evil Ring and zapped all those guys, especially because he actually needs the experience points from that sort of utility, as opposed to Gunts, who kind of doesn't. Blue is going to be basically useless on this run, I can already tell. Use this on Hans. He's probably safe from being attacked, so he can start sniping guys from a distance with higher attack power. You know what, this is kind of a waste, but let's get him his hit points back so he can charge in there a little bit more safely, especially because this battle's happening so fast with the aggressive enemies that Lo might not be able to catch up before everything is done. All these enemies are just grouping together. I really wish Max was there, or I really wish Blue or somebody weaker than Guns could use those rings, because Guns I can just attack with and he'll do fine damage. Plus he also doesn't need to be fed the experience points of being able to zap multiple enemies like that. Let's start diminishing their forces a little bit. Gort's kind of the same way. I wish I could give Gort something that would, what is it? I wish I could give somebody else the heat axe is what I'm trying to say. Somebody who actually needs the damage. Domingo's quickly running out of magic points, but that's fine. He's done plenty already in this battle, and he learned Muddle, which is completely useless. Killed 2 enemies, which as I've said before is unideal for me, but just gotta do what I can at this point. The enemies are being aggressive, so I need to take them out before they take me out, especially considering magic is my only real solid way of doing that. Gong, once again, not getting any stronger, so still trailing behind Lo. His attack power is currently 50. I'm actually going to test this real quick. Gonna make a save state. I actually want to check if this guy is the leader. Because if he is, I'd like to get as many kills and experience points as possible before ending him. Although, with that just happening, I could really try to give the kill to somebody like Blue. So let's try to make that happen. The evil ring wasn't damaged, so let's give the Minotaur more bait to go after, and then zap these guys with the evil ring. It's kind of a waste having the evil ring and the black ring both on the same character, but I just didn't really have anybody else to give the things to. Guns continues to get stronger. That defense might prove useful though, considering, see, I could have just zapped those 2 guys with all my, anyway. I'm gonna stop complaining about that. It's annoying, but what are you gonna do? Defense 32, defense 30, attack 38. She should be able to take out the Torch Eye, or at least get very close to it. The land effect will protect him a bit, though, but if I can... Oh, so close. That could be another easy kill for a weaker character, though, like Xylo. What's Xylo's experience points? 11. He's way far from gaining a level up, so he definitely could use this. It's dangerous, but so is that Torch Eye. Because I don't want to end the battle yet if this guy's the leader, which I'm pretty sure he is. Okay, he's not. For some reason, I always feel like that guy's the battle leader. Every single time I do this fight, I always feel like that's the case. Lo, you're being kinda useless, but so's Max. But the enemies were aggressive and I just had to respond accordingly because of how weak I am. Ow. That Torch Eye could take out Ammon if it so chooses, but it's attacking Xylo. The interesting thing about the Torch Eyes is they have that laser attack, and that's their only attack. And what makes that dangerous is it completely bypasses your defenses. It's considered a magic attack by the game, so it can't miss, and it does a set range of damage regardless of your defense. Which is sort of good and bad, because on one hand, it means it'll do less damage than some enemies will to your weaker characters, like a super strong enemy like a Wyvern or a Minotaur could attack somebody like an archer and do a massive amount of damage, whereas something like a Torch Eye may do less because it just does a set range of damage regardless of defense. However, against somebody like Guntz or Gort, who have naturally high defense, odds are the Torch Eye will do more damage to them than a standard enemy. The Wyvern resists fire. I'm using the Black Ring this time, though, because... okay, it's damaged. That's a good thing. But I wanted to use that instead because I didn't want Guns to get either of the kills. I want other people to get the kills instead. Even if that risks costing somebody their life. The battle's won, so a casualty at this point isn't going to be a big deal. Good miss, Balbaroy. I could just imagine him charging the thing. Ammon, I don't think can hurt the thing anyway. Yeah, so she can retreat and get healed. Balbaroy missing the thing, I could just imagine him going right for the floating orb above it, and then it just increases the energy output of its gravity whatever, and just hovers its eye right above Balbaroy, so the Birdman just shoots right between both pieces of the machine. Let's see if I can give this kill to Xylo, because this thing's no longer a major threat, and there's still at least one more battle after this where I want to use Xylo, although after that I probably won't be using him much anymore, because there's only one more outside battle in the game, and after that it's gonna start coming down more to the levels of my characters, and Xylo's so far behind that he's not likely going to be making it to the end. But that one extra level could still be useful in that particular fight, assuming I even use him for it. Ow. And an extremely useful level up at that. I'm glad I gave him that, even if it will only be applicable for perhaps one more fight in the game. Now, on to the Tower of the Ancients. I feel like that should say onward, not on. But whatever. We won with no casualties, which is good. So we've got to move on. But first, we have to rearrange our party for the next fight and also repair the Black Ring. And perhaps buy some new weapons as well, depending on who we decide to use for this upcoming fight. See you in the Tower of the Ancients. Where am I going? I still have 2 defense potions and a health bread that I need to use on people. We have arrived at the Tower of the Ancients, where there are awesome dragon statues and stolen treasures. They left one for us, the Devil Lance. I am not going to be using that because it's cursed, but I'll take it anyway, so I can sell it for monies. Move this now to... Sure, you can hold on to it. Turbo Pepper, that permanently raises somebody's mobility. That's gonna have to be used on somebody at some point. Stop them! Lord Darksol must not be disturbed! We must get inside the tower. Smash through these monsters quickly, Max. Alright, here we go with this battle. My team's a little different than usual. For starters, I removed Gong to get some level ups with some more people, because we're about to recruit a new healer. And for the sake of actually giving everybody at least some time to shine because of the rules of this run that I've been following, I've decided to actually use that healer in place of Gong, because Gong just sucks. And that way, he avoids being the one character I would have probably gone the whole game not using otherwise, except for maybe also one other fighter we're gonna be getting soon. As for my team, I brought some of my knights as per usual for the sake of mobility, but I also brought archers and flying units because of the overall layout of this battlefield, because this is just a really weirdly laid out fight, and I want to accommodate that with all these walls, and there's a few narrow passageways at the staircases, so I wanted my archers and flying units to be able to circumvent that, to be able to handle these situations. These guys are dangerous, but I would like to, in another turn perhaps, get my flying units up there and start intercepting some of these enemies early on. Cut them off before my other units need to worry about them, which is partly why I brought Domingo as one of my flying units, to be able to bypass some of their defenses. I would like to see if I can get them a little bit more spread out, though, before I do that, so I can maybe just take out one and then retreat without being ganged up on. So the focus for my party this time was a blend of mobility and attack range, pretty much, to take advantage both of the flat terrain that my centaurs can move quickly across, and the fact that there's lots of walls and stuff in the way. Let's start powering up for that first attack and hope I don't regret it. Giving the power boost to Blue because he needs to hit harder. If he can just get a good hit, he only needs 7 experience points to level up, so if he can just get that one good hit, that will at least get that. I just hope they don't then get ganged up on by multiple enemies after I send them in to that advanced attack. It should be good, though. We shouldn't have too many problems in this fight. It's just gonna take a while because of the winding path we have to follow. I would have liked to have given the evil and black rings to my mages to help them handle running out of magic points, but as with lots of other stuff, they can't use the things. So instead I have them on a couple of my knights, just in case they need to do magic damage or whatever. I'm hoping this is a safe thing to be doing. It may not be. Blue's probably gonna get that kill anyway. How can May handle hits from these guys? Not as good as she should be able to. But she'll survive, assuming it engages. So let's get her up there, see if I can draw in some enemy fire. And then from there I can just gang up on them. As much as it would be wiser to kill that other one, I'm gonna try to do... How could this happen to me? I really needed that to hit, because without that level up, he's gonna die in one hit. The enemies are charging in ways I did not want them to. Ow! Alright, time to start fighting! Charge! Alright, Tao, kick things off and kick them off right. Get some damage in there. I would have liked 1 or 2 more enemies to move in before that so I could hit multiples, but it is what it is. Max! Get in there and do some damage with your fancy new sword. Perfect! That's one threat out of the way immediately. So now Lo can heal himself unless that other jet goes in and kills him. Hopefully Max will make them not want to do that. He could have blasted Blue with his laser because the claw guys have the same laser attack as the torch eyes, but they also have the option of a basic attack as well. She still doesn't have freeze level 3, so she can't hit stuff from that far away. Domingo, I need you to be a decoy for Blue. Everything is falling apart quickly. We can salvage this maybe, but terrible things are happening. Good. Attack Domingo! Domingo, use your super defenses. I forgot that the ice worm could do that. They're such forgettable enemies because this might, I think, be the only battle in the game they're in. They might be in the next one as well. I can't remember for sure. I need to get rid of this jet before it has a chance to do anything else because Lo can't double up on, because Lo won't be able to heal 2 people at once. So I need to use this ring in an unideal situation, just to get that damage. I would rather save it for when there are lots of enemies to hit. But sometimes I can't have that luxury. Kill it, Balbaroy. Oh, dang it. Oh, perfect, perfect. Yes, I really needed that thing dead. Balbaroy, Domingo, and Blue are kind of on a suicide mission, it seems like, which is not good. Keep getting at this jet, do as much damage to it as possible, which was 1. Alright, use the halberd. Kerpow! Level up. That's a good level up. Alright, Lyle, finish this thing off. Get rid of this threat so I can start healing. There we go. Now that's an appropriate attack animation for a bazooka. Much more so than a crossbow. Alright, Blue, just blast this guy as best you can. There. Waste of a lot of experience points, but I need that level up for survivability. Boost spell ends. Dang it. Eat some seeds, Lo. Get your health back up. Do that instead of using your super powerful magic that's weaker than some berries you can buy at the shop. That would be a terrible idea. Much as I would love to blast that guy, if it was Blaze level 4, I would do it. Because then it would probably one-shot the thing, but I don't have Blaze level 4 yet. Even though I feel like I probably should at this point. Domingo's in trouble. Domingo's down. All is lost. Oh no. Max can't get in there like that. He needs to just use the Sword of Light. Well, actually, let's get some healing going. Perfect. No experience points because he's not a healer, but it's worth it for him to be able to protect himself and have the boosted defense of the White Ring. At least I feel like it is. See, normally I split up my party between flying and not flying like this, so I failed to really consider the consequences of doing so, given these circumstances. So everything just kind of fell apart. And Blue can't outrun that jet. Hopefully it won't, or that claw guy, I mean. Hopefully it won't be programmed to chase him down there. That's basically what I have to hope for at this point, is that the AI won't go down there once it's been triggered to attack. Good level up, Ken. That's the kind of level up that only amounts to something before you're promoted. Because at least then, you're one step closer to being promoted, as opposed to now where it's just nothing. Keep on the offensive, people! Take out this worm, get it out of the way so we can start making our way up the stairs. Nobody else can reach, though, so we're just gonna have to make do with what we can. Ken should be able to take a hit from that thing, hopefully. Again, we're really starting to get to that point where my levels are becoming a problem. So I'm not entirely sure he can take that hit unless the thing uses its ice powers. Okay, good. That thing's retreating. Meaning Blue is safe and I just need to get him healed. Which also means my power ring is safe. Hang in there, Ken. Good. Use your magic. Just don't... Okay, good. Because breath attacks, as I said before, can hit twice. And that would have said bye-bye to Ken. Clear the path. Path is cleared. Let us advance. Let's get everybody up here and then start doing some healing before we move on. Blue's also got to catch up the safe way. That jet looks like it's getting ready to attack, so I'm gonna have to take that out real quick. Hopefully be able to do so safely. Attack, men! Defeat the enemy. Then we can take a moment to rest. Unless more enemies attack, like that steel claw that's guarding that treasure chest could just decide, let's charge in now. May is so weak. Even normally, her attack power isn't all that exceptional compared to the other knights. She's just got a lot of survivability. She's mostly a tank above all else. Stab it right in its belly button face. And then Lyle blow it away for good measure with your friggin' bazooka. That suddenly seems far less impressive in a medieval setting now compared to these robots we're fighting. I believe these guys resist magic, so I don't think this will quite finish it off, but made it more finishable for somebody else to get in there. Lo, I actually want you to heal Balbaroy. Ken's more injured, but odds are that thing will just attack one of the adjacent targets instead. And it happened to be Balbaroy. Ow. If I hadn't healed him, he would have survived with 1 hit point. Max, defeat the enemy before it takes anybody out. And maybe get a little bit stronger yourself, because you can also use some levels. Especially defense. Your attack power doesn't really matter anymore now that you have this Sword of Light. Alright, this seems like a safe spot. The enemies don't seem to be engaging me, so I'm gonna try and get everybody gathered together for some healing. Speaking of Shining Force 3, it's so convenient how in this game you can just pass your accessories and such off to other people without needing to unequip them. You can just do it. At the same time, though, Shining Force 3 has the convenience of your equipped weapon and accessory not taking up inventory space, so you can have 1 equipped weapon, 1 equipped accessory, plus your 4 item spots. Alright, it is time for our invasion to continue, starting with sniping this guy from behind the wall before he can do anything. Sure, he can fly, but we should be able to take him out before he gets the chance. And then we won't have to worry about him when he is a threat. Because he could have attacked us earlier, but didn't. Actually, I'm not going to do that because then Actually, you know, the torch shouldn't be a threat anyway. So attack! Get a little bit more damage off on this guy. Because why not? Kerpow! Now I just need someone who can finish the thing. Can you finish the thing? You can. But I'd rather it be something that won't miss, like magic. So instead, you can go after the torch eye, Diane. Kerpow! Perfect. So while this is going on, we can touch up on another one of my stories on my list. Get a second one of those scratched off this episode. I talked earlier about my weird fantasy fulfillment of seeing a horse in a Shining Force game. So now we can talk about, let me think. Which story should I do? Like most kids growing up, I'm sure, or at least I assume most kids, I assume that a lot of people would sometimes borrow things from friends. Video games, toys, whatever. You would borrow stuff usually in exchange for something else. Go to a friend, be like, hey, you have this awesome toy or game or whatever. Can I borrow it? And it's like, sure, but I'll let you borrow it if I can borrow this from you. And then you would temporarily exchange the things. At least I did that a lot. My friends and I did that sort of stuff a lot growing up. We would temporarily exchange possessions, mostly video games. And sometimes we would even exchange video game consoles for a while. I had friends who had the Super Nintendo. I didn't have the Super Nintendo, but I was the one friend who had a Sega Genesis. So every now and then, we would trade. I would let my friend borrow my Genesis while I would borrow their Super Nintendo. And that's something we would do every now and then. With one particular friend, this game was kind of an incentive for that. I wouldn't do this constantly, especially because I would sometimes want to rent this game and play it myself. But every now and then, if I was wanting to borrow this particular friend's Super Nintendo, I would rent Shining Force and then let him borrow the Genesis Genesis along with the game for that given weekend. And it would work because he would be really wanting to play this game as well. So I would basically do that. I would rent the game to borrow his Super Nintendo by making him want to borrow my Genesis. That's always been a brutal attack animation to me. I had brought up in the past about how there are certain attack animations in this game that always stood out to me as particularly brutal or just things that stand out for one reason or another. And that was always one of them. The Torch Eye's laser against Blue always stood out to me because of how it just zaps him straight between the eyes. Just gets him in that perfect spot right between the eyes, so it's just like zap. Dead. Just a perfect headshot. Not just a headshot, but it just seems so perfectly aimed at that precise point that it just has always been an attack animation that seemed especially brutal compared to most. At least to me. As if a laser needs to be more brutal. Speaking of Blue, if he can get that kill, that would be useful. So let's advance other characters further on to get at this worm instead. Take him out, Blue! But at least this time, if you miss, I'll have plenty of other units to back you up. Because I would like to be able to get more use out of Blue, especially since I so rarely use him. It would be interesting to actually have him a bit later on as well. But if not, that's just the way things go. Hopefully now that I returned down here, the wyverns should back off. Time for some healing! Remember that time, Blue, you got clobbered by a healer? Well, now a healer's helping you. Slow level 2, yay. If this were Shining Force 3, I would be utterly ecstatic about that, though. Because in Shining Force 3, slow is one of the most useful spells in the game because it actually works. It even works on bosses. So you can drop a boss's defense power and then just start wailing on them. Even the game's super bosses, you can cast slow on to bypass their defenses, which becomes all the more useful on higher difficulty settings, because some of the later Shining Force games started introducing difficulty settings. And in Shining Force 3, the difficulties ultimately amount to the enemies having higher attack and defense powers, so that makes slow, which lowers the target's defense and agility, all the more useful. Especially since on top of that, in Shining Force 3, agility is actually a dependable stat because you don't get these double turns in a single round or other such weird nonsense. The agility is dependable. It tells you almost precisely the turn order. In scenarios 2 and 3, or in scenarios 1 and 2, it's about perfect, but I feel like scenario 3 added a bit more of a variance to stats, not just with agility, but also to attack and defense. So sometimes the information as it seems isn't 100% accurate. There's a bit more of a variable factor in scenario 3, it seems, compared to the other ones, at least as far as I've been able to observe. Hopefully those wyverns don't become a problem. They're just hanging out there. They're in not a terrible spot, though. I don't mind them being near the ladder where I can start getting at them. Advancing our troops slowly as we raid this ancient tower, this sacred place that the evil forces of Darksol have invaded for their diabolical purposes of bringing back Dark Dragon or whatever. And we must stop them because we are good guys and they are bad guys. Become stronger so that we can defeat the enemies. Let's line up, prepare for battle. Put Lyle behind the knights because he is an archer in need of protection. Tau, catch up. They're just hanging out. Valveroy, get at this Torch Eye. Kerchunk! And then Blue will follow up in just a moment. Oh no, never mind.
I want you to abort the mission immediately.
Retreat! Fail! The operation is a complete failure! Max, kill the Torch Eye! And then Balveroy, run away! Or kill that Torcheye next. Whatever. Just don't die. We've already lost one valuable member this fight. We don't need to lose any more. Speaking of which, Henry, to the front lines! Ka-cha! I usually use level 1 magic unless I can either guarantee a kill with a stronger spell or hit multiple targets. Because otherwise, if I'm only hitting one target with a level 2 or sometimes even a level 3 spell, I just don't feel like it's worth the increased MP cost for the 1 or 2 extra points of damage. Even though that 1 or 2 extra points of damage would have possibly allowed Lyle to get that kill, but we can just get it with somebody else instead. Although I don't think this will be enough. Dang it, May. But at the same time, I don't feel like that would have been worth risking the ring being damaged. Because the evil ring is expensive to repair. Not to mention I would then not have it for perhaps a more important moment in this fight. Actually, you know what, Blue? Yeah, let's attack this guy, why not? Get a little bit more damage on him, and then Balveroy can get in there, hopefully take the thing out. I was thinking about using the power ring instead to boost Blue for an attack in an upcoming round, but decided to go with this route instead because he would have been in danger anyway if I got him in a position where he would actually be able to follow up with an attack in the next round. So I'm gonna hopefully he'll survive, and then in the next round I will use the power ring on him to focus on the wyverns. That's a painful hit, but at least now the ice worm won't be able to reach him, and the laser or the torch eye should focus fire on Balveroy or Blue instead. Balveroy didn't even need the help thanks to his power boost. Hit him with more magic! Dang it. I need Lo to get out of the way. Or Vankar. Fire! Blue, defensive formation! Use your tankiness you have not had the opportunity to properly develop, and then have Ken completely nullify that purpose. And now Blue's just in the way. Good job. Get Max back up to speed with a solid heal level 3. And then Max. Zappy zap. So Ken doesn't die. Charge forward with all our might and defeat these vile fiends who have invaded this sacred land, who dare use the powers of the ancient times to try and conquer the modern world. Because for some reason ancient times are always better. And modern weapons could never in any reality be mightier than those of thousands of years ago. Nuclear bombs, machine guns, pshaw, spears and hexes. That's where the real power lies. And we must stop that power from being used by the forces of evil. Balveroy, do something stupid! Kerpow! Shining Force! Save Balveroy! Save him from the stupidity of what he just did! Because for some reason I decided to do that. May! Stab that wyvern in the face! Or whatever I just said. Lyle, back her up with bazooka! Much better. As expected. A bazooka's power is greater than a spear. We just completely nullified Darksol's entire logic of using ancient powers to conquer the modern world. Good job, Blue! Damn it, Blue! You suck, I hate you! You're almost good. But now you're just... you. Blue has been nothing but a disappointment. Max, fix things! Because now that you have the Sword of Light, you're useful! Max goes from just being a generic, average fighter to being the best character in the game just because he has that sword that he can abuse the hell out of. Balbaroy, continue your stupid assault that led to this situation. Stab! And you continue to just utterly fail. And now, once again, everybody else has to charge in and fix it. May, stab! Oh dear. It's fine. Everything's cool. Blue, zap! You don't have power anymore, but zap! Actually, wait, he does because of the glitch. Excellent. The power of glitch will save the day. And now that I know what triggers the glitch and how it works, I can use it to my full advantage. Ken! You're so weak, use the black ring even though... Wait. No, I think it's damaged. Never mind. Maybe that was the previous battle, or maybe I'm just thinking of something else. Yeah, I think it was damaged in the previous battle. I think I already fixed it. Whatever. Charge! Save the stupid people. Max! Use this broken thing. I forgot to give the white ring back to Max. Get the Valkyrie, the best weapon for knights. Not only is it the strongest weapon, but it's also a spear, making it double useful. And now we just have to advance on this final enemy up this friggin' ladder. Make Balbaroy stronger. And Blue should still have the glitched power up. Just so long as he's not just so long as I don't open the menu. Or he gets targeted by an attack or healing or anything. He should maintain the glitch power, which I will take advantage of. That's dangerous. Charge! Just overwhelm this last enemy with sheer numbers. Ken, get in there! Take out the Master of Demons! Which, by that logic, shouldn't Darksol be serving him? Something about the logic here doesn't seem right. Good job. You hit a wizard for 1 damage. Oh, if only Blue could get in there. But he can't. Oh no, the wizard is punching! Quick, don't... I was gonna say don't die, but dying also works. I guess. May, quick, throw another useless spear. Perfect. You did your job well. Now, Henry, finish it off with Blaze. Because he uses freeze magic, so we will use Blaze. Burn! Demon Rod, we won't be using that. Level up! Or you cannot learn more magic. Lord Darksol, I have failed. They're coming into the tower. Ah! Get in there, quickly. Hello. Keep going. Darksol, top of tower. Hurry. We can't go on. You must stop Darksol. Don't worry about us. Get Darksol before it's too late. Maybe you are strong enough to succeed where we failed. Bye, guys. Thanks for joining my team. Too late, Max. It has begun. The castle of the ancients is rising from the depths. Soon I will awaken Dark Dragon, and he will rule the world. And now the time to end your meddling is here. Thank God I'm not prattling on about a satellite or anything stupid like that. I call upon the darkness to crush this world. No, it cannot be. My plan, it's succeeding. No. Hello, Cade. Yes, Darksol, and this time I will stop you. Fool, I am now many times mightier than when we last met. Your doom is here. Flash screen attack! Arg! I have no more time to waste with you two. Dark Dragon awaits. I must do that instead of turning around and spending 2 extra seconds to kill Max. Mwahahaha! I'm dying, Max. Go to Metafa. Hurry! Blarg! Kane dies. Max, there is no time for sorrow. Aleph and Tarasu are with us. On to Metafa. Why would I feel sad? Except that the game kind of omits the fact that Max and Kane are brothers. Because that, for whatever reason, was removed from the American version of the game until the GBA remake. So, it's like, don't feel sad for Kane. It's like, why the hell would I feel sad for Kane? He was a bad guy, and yeah, he was being controlled by Darksol, but it's not like the game gave me any reason to feel sympathetic towards him or anything like that, so whatever. I guess there's no time to feel sad for this guy I don't give a shit about. Except I'm supposed to give a shit about him because he and Max are brothers. But I wouldn't know that until the game came out on the Game Boy Advance. To the priest, we have to revive people. We also have to promote Tarasu and Aleph because for some reason they start not promoted, even though it's this far in the game. They're at like level 14, but it doesn't change the fact that we're gonna promote them and they're going to be at level 1, when the rest of our force should be about level 10 to 15 at this point. Maybe not quite that high, but our forces should be about, like Max is level 8, we have Musashi at level 10. Our characters should be much higher. Maybe not quite 15, but maybe about 12, like 8 to 12 range. Maybe someone like Domingo who mass levels up might be about 15, but the point is, Aleph and Tarasu are level 1 promoted. This is the biggest problem with this game, is once you get past a certain point, namely once you get past chapter 4, almost everybody else who joins your party is just pitiful with how they start out. And we're about to get another character who's exactly the same. He starts at level 14. Not promoted. So if you want to use Tarasu, Aleph, or this other guy, you basically have to stop and grind to get them caught up to at least a usable level, otherwise they're completely worthless. Onward to the castle! We have to do stuff there. We have to reach Metafa and do what we can there to stop Darksol from summoning the powers of a satellite to do evil things, because according to the Game Boy Advance version, the source of all magic is a satellite. Because why? Hello, King. We are doomed, Max. Darksol's awakening Dark Dragon. It cannot be stopped. No, do not give up. All is not yet lost. Hello, remember me? I was a character who mattered once in the game. Who are you to barge into my throne room? I am Otrent of Manarina, King Kusuko. Have you heard of the Chaos Breaker? Yes, a sword spoken of in ancient legends. When ultimate evil arises, a sword of both light and darkness can defeat the evil. Max has the sword of light, and Kane had the sword of darkness. Kane left it with me. Max, take both swords to Metafa. Once there, you can create the Chaos Breaker. Here is the sword of darkness. Max receives the sword of darkness. Now leave for Metafa. Create the Chaos Breaker and stop Darksol. Funny thing is, if Max's inventory is full, the king will be like, you can't carry this yet. Make room in your inventory, then I will give it to you. It's kind of dumb. I don't know who I want to use the Turbo Pepper yet on, but let's get the white ring back from Lo. and then head onward to Metafa. Let's not equip the Sword of Darkness because it's cursed. I'll hang on to it though because I can use it to cast D-Soul if I really want to. Go to Metafa and get the Cha-Os-Breaker. Now leave for Metafa, create the Cha-Os-Breaker and stop Darksol. To Metafa, we can finally go to these ruins and do that stuff. So we just have to use the Orb of Light to open the path. Teleport! Hello, good sir. You are too late. Darksol took the key to the accursed door. Didn't he already have the key? He had acknowledged earlier in the game that he already had both the key and the book. But this is kind of treating it like it was a recent thing. Go to the eye symbol and use the orb, yeah. Hello, spirit! I know about Kane. Darksol has the key and is on his way to revive Dark Dragon. The Chaos Breaker may be able to reseal Dark Dragon if Darksol frees him. Follow Adam. He will lead you to where you can create the Chaos Breaker. Information. Hello again. I am Adam, a robot soldier. I will show you how to create the Chaos Breaker. Follow me. We walk this way, and then we go around to the long way instead of circling the other way. Because why not? Screech, kill, kill. Stop. You are chaos. You have been reprogrammed by Darksol. Revert to original function. Screech, go away. Ow. And Adam joins the Shining Force by dying. Screech, kill, kill. Because even though the game didn't tell us Adam joined, if we retreat from this battle, we will have Adam in our party. But for the time being, we are going to take a break. Normally, I would have ended after the previous battle, but in this particular case, I wanted to get to this point before ending the episode because I actually want to do some grinding. Because I want to get Aleph, Adam, and Tarasu at least somewhat usable. Because now I have to go promote Adam, and then he's also going to suck because he's going to be at level 1 at the end of the game. So with that, if you enjoyed the episode, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And when we resume, we will take on Chaos, the robot who is, I guess, a good guy and for some reason is called Chaos. Even though Chaos isn't inadvertently good or evil, but it still just seems like a really weird name for a robot. Considering robots, I feel, would be the exact opposite of Chaos, in that they're precise to a function, rather than being chaotic. But whatever! We'll be doing that by the next episode. Those characters will be grinded up a little bit so they can perhaps get at least some use in the game. And thanks for watching!